Garrison to send him away. But in her intrepid manner, for Mrs. Garrison was a stalwart creature, she returned, informing me that the gentleman's business was urgent.
"He says it relates to a murder,"
she told me in the same dull tone she used to announce increases in my rent. Her pallid and beveined face hardened to show her displeasure.
"That's what he said. Murder, plain as anything. I cannot say it pleases me, Mr. Weaver, to have men come to my house talking of murder."
I could not fully comprehend why, if the word was so distasteful to her ears, she should pronounce it quite so loudly within the halls, but I saw my task was to comfort her. "I quite understand, madam. The gentleman surely said Mercer, and not murder," I lied, "for I am engaged in a concern of textiles at this moment. Please send him up." The word murder had caught my attention as well as Mrs. Garrison's. Having been involved in a murder of sorts not 12 hours earlier, I thought this matter might concern me indeed. This Balfour would certainly be a scavenger of some kind, the sort of desperate renegado with which London seethed, a creature who combed the dank and filthy streets near the river, hunting for anything he might pawn, including information. No doubt he had heard something of the unfortunate adventure with which I had met and had come to ask me to pay for his silence. I knew well how to dispose of a man of this stripe, not with money, certainly, for to give a rascal any silver at all was to encourage him to return for more. No, I had found that in these cases violence usually did my business. I would think of something bloodless, something that would not attract Mrs. Garrison's attention when I escorted the blackguard out. A woman with no taste for the talk of murder under her roof should hardly countenance an act of mutilation paraded down her staircase. I took a moment to order my receiving room, as I called it. I took 2 rooms of Mrs. Garrison, one private, the other in which I conducted my business. Like many businessmen, for so I fancied myself even then, I had been used to order my affairs in a local coffee-house, but the delicate nature of my work had made such public venues unacceptable to the men I served. Instead, I had set up a room with several comfortable chairs, a table around which to sit, and a handsome set of shelves that I used to store wine and cheese, rather than the books for which they were designed. Mrs. Garrison had done the decorating, and while she had given the room an inappropriately cheery tone with its pinkish-white paint and light blue curtains, I found that a few swords and martial prints about the walls helped to add a sufficiently manly corrective. I took pride in these rooms being so very proper, for the genteel tone put the gentleman who came to seek my services at ease. My trade frequently involved the unsavoury, and gentlemen, I had learned, preferred the illusion that they dealt in simple business, nothing more. I should like to add, though I risk accusations of vanity, I took pride in my own appearance as well. I had escaped my years as a pugilist with few of the badges that gave fellow veterans of the ring the appearance of ruffians, missing eyes, mashed noses, or such-like disfigurements, and had no more to show for my beatings than some small scars about my face, and a nose that bore only the mild bumps and jagged edges that come with several breakings. Indeed, I fancied myself a well enough looking man, and I made a point of always dressing neatly, if modestly. I wore upon my body only clean shirts, and none of my coats and waistcoats were more than a year old. Nevertheless, I was none of your sprightly popinjays who wore the latest bright colours and frills. A man of my trade always prefers simple fashions that draw to himself no particular attention. I seated myself at my large oaken writing desk, which faced the door. I used this desk when I ordered my affairs, but I had discovered that it served to make clear my authority. I thus picked up a pen, and contorted the muscles in my face to resemble something like a man both busy and irritated. When Mrs. Garrison showed this visitor in, however, I was at pains to conceal my surprise. William Balfour was no prig, as we called thieves in those days, but a gentleman of fine dress and appearance. He was perhaps 5 years younger than myself. I gauged him at 2 to 23. He was a tall, gaunt, stooped man with something of a sunken look on a wide, handsome face that was only slightly marred by the scars of smallpox. He wore a wig of the first quality, but it showed its age and wear in its stains and